There's a couple of things that might be worth talking about now we're getting to the point where all your seedlings are starting to get a bit bigger and the weather is improving. One of them is damping off and the second one is hardening off. And we'll start with damping off. So basically, damping off is a pathogen that grows on the soil line of your plants. And what it basically does is it starts there on your soil line and it will spread to the stem of your plant, and then it will start to work its way up the stem of that plant. As it works its way up, the stem will start to turn brown and eventually that seedling will just fall over and die. And if you're multi-sowing things like this, it can also quickly spread from one plant to another. But there is a way that you can prevent that happening. You need to make sure your containers are properly cleaned. You don't want any germs in there because that could kickstart it off. Also, overwatering can cause it as well. So keep your eye on that and always check by maybe putting your finger in the compost, and if it feels damp an inch or so down, then although it might look dry on top, it does not need watering. You could also test it if you pick it up, because you'll have a noticeable difference in weight between one that is dried out and one that's not. But also, when you've got them all together like this, or even in trays like this, where they're quite close to each other, if you're growing them in your greenhouse, obviously because the temperature is not warm enough to put them outside at the moment, they're not getting any airflow. And that's another thing that can trigger this pathogen to start growing. So you need to get your plants and maybe take them outside just to give them a bit of airflow. Because if you're keeping them in your greenhouse and then at night you're putting fleece over to keep them warm because it's still quite cold at nights, they're not actually getting any airflow around all these plants, or even around plants like this. So on a nice day like today, it will be a good idea to put some outside, which then brings me on to hardening off, which is basically getting them used to the outside weather. Because if you've grown them in your conservatory or in your house, in a shed, or even in your greenhouse, and you've been covering them up with fleece, obviously again because of the changes in weather, these plants are not used to that weather outside. They may have been getting the sun, but they're not used to the fluctuations of temperature from day to night, and the winds, they're not used to that impact either. And that can shock your plants and it can kill them. So when you reach a point where you think, my plant's nearly ready to go and be planted outside, you want to just take your plant and put it outside and let it get a bit of that weather. Don't leave it out at night. Just give it a couple of hours a day to get used to the different temperatures on different days and the wind and rain as well. And then after about 5 days, they will have acclimatized to the outside weather, and then you'll be fine to go and plant them outside. So I thought that was a couple of things that was worth going over, since we do have quite a few newbie gardeners that follow this channel. Any advice that they can get as they start out is going to be really helpful to them. So damping off, make sure your containers are clean before you put your seeds in and start growing your plants. Give them some air through the day just to get a bit of air circulation around your plants, especially if they're multi-sown ones like these. And don't overwater your plants. And then hardening off, take them outside. When they're good sized plants, pop them outside a couple of hours a day. You don't have to put them in direct sunlight, but just so they're outside and they're feeling that change in climate. And after 5 days, they'll be perfectly fine, and you should have no problems when you actually do come to plant them out. Anyway, I hope that you found this video informative, and if you want to see more as we're going through spring and summer, then just hit that subscribe button and press that notifications bell, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.